Eddie, how you doing, man? How are you doing? Sup, yeah. Sup, Eddie? How you doing, man? How you doing? Hello? It's good to see you here. How y'all doing? Stellar. It's good to see you. Feel so good. Good to see you. Tack. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody have a good weekend? Did you all have a good weekend? Pretty good, mate, says Eddie. Good to hear, good to hear. Wake Up says, how's your Sunday? Well, yeah, it's pretty good, I guess. No complaints. Didn't really do anything special, but, you know, maybe that's a good thing. Good to see you, too. Hi, hello, Jesse. How you doing? You spent the entire weekend studying English? Wow, I hope you've spent a lot of time using it as well. I hope by studying, you know, studying is just a figure of speech, hopefully. Hopefully you spent the entire weekend using English, because that's, as I always say, that's exactly what you should be doing. Good evening. It's been a while. It was okay. How was your day? It was alright. Pretty normal for me. Spent most of the day trying to... you know, I've been working on a lot of stuff, like a lot of new scripts and a lot of new lessons, so... Yeah. Hey, Hillary. How's it going? You're eating 오징어 땅콩.
Mission log 2050-01.
Hello. Hey, Lucy. How you doing? Good to see you again, as always. How's your weekend? Hi. Where are you? Are you in a spaceship like Mickey 17? I sure am. I sure am. You feel a bit sick. Today was chilly. Yes, it was chilly. Yesterday and today. Today, because I was out with my family today, and it didn't feel as cold as it did yesterday. But it certainly did feel pretty cold, especially the wind. The wind made it so much worse. The wind just made it so much worse. I mean, if it hadn't been so windy, it wouldn't have been so cold. I think it was the same thing yesterday too. That's awesome. Hi there. How you doing, Hannah? It's okay. I mean, that's the beauty of YouTube, right? The videos will always be there. You have COVID? Was it you or was it someone else the other day? We're talking about their daughter had COVID and maybe they were feeling a little sick. Did you actually get that diagnosed? Did you actually see a doctor and get... Hey, Liam, what's up? How's it going? You're cooking kimchichim? Okay, cool. Yeah, that sucks. The residents. I was fucking pissed. Just accept it the way... Just accept the way they use it. It's a language. It's a language, right? They often omit things, just because we learn a specific expression in a certain way doesn't always mean that everybody's going to be using it exactly the same way. It's a language, guys. It's a language. Well, not that kind of chili, right? A chili with the Y, but... Wow, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for buying the book. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Oh no, okay. So you're feeling a little better after getting the shot, but the fact is you have COVID, okay? You got to be really careful. You got to really try to take good care of yourself. First time. Oh, okay, you just got out of the shower? Okay. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you with us. How you doing today? How's your weekend? I hope everyone had a great weekend. Yeah, because I'm really... Whenever I hear people... whenever I hear about people having COVID, I worry about long COVID. Long COVID is where you continue... Even after you've become... even after you don't have COVID anymore, you continue to have those symptoms. And some of those symptoms can be very, very crippling. It can be very, very bad. So hopefully you don't have long COVID. Just try to take good care of yourself, please, please. Just look online. Just look online. It's called, I'm not super proud of the title. I am not super proud of the title, but that is what it is. That's the title right there. I'm not super proud of it. It is what it is. Hi, how's it going? I can't believe April is just coming. Time flies so fast. I know, right? Time flies. Time flies. Absolutely. Hello, Leo. Yeah, I mean, not bad. How are things with you? How are things with you? Using AI program. Like how? Like, can you give me an example? Like how? 억지 좀 부리지 마를 영어로 하면 don't insist. No, just, stop being so stubborn. Yeah, stop being so stubborn. Yeah. That's what I would say. I'm great. I was shocked by the story that 2 users got COVID these days. Oh, you mean 2 of our viewers? Yeah, it's pretty, I mean, it's still out there. COVID is still out there. People are getting sick. The threat is still very, very real, and the consequences can be devastating. So you guys really got to be careful. Maybe we ought to be wearing our masks again, Maybe we ought to be wearing our masks again. Not users, 2 member on this channel. Right, yeah. Is it AI generating that English subtitles on your left? AI? Well, you guys know that even your smartphones, without using AI, you can get very good speech-to-text recognition. You guys know that, right? Speech-to-text recognition. You can hit that little mic button on your keyboard and you can start talking, and it almost perfectly, as long as you're pronouncing clearly, it almost perfectly dictates what you're saying. That's what it's doing. It doesn't. I mean, this doesn't have to be AI, right? It doesn't have to be AI. This is pretty simple stuff right here. It's pretty. Well, I don't want to say simple because I'm sure there's, more to it than just dictating. But yeah, the speech-to-text recognition technology is pretty good, regardless of AI. I just keep using it. Something that you got to realize about learning another language. Most people get so caught up looking for the best and most effective method but they're losing sight of the only method that actually works. As you keep on hunting for that best effective method, you're just completely forgetting what the only effective method is. And the only effective method is to just use the language as much as you can. Stop looking for methods that people call like how to learn, like methods and learning and studying. No. You just got to use it as much as you can. Take a step back and think about it, and I'm sure you'll agree with what I'm saying right now. Like, how can anybody disagree with what I'm saying? Of course. And I'm not saying that using the language is the best way, although it is. But something more important to realize is that using the language is not only the best way, it is the only way. Think about it. How can you learn a language without using it? You gotta use it. You just gotta use it as much as you can. That's the single most important thing. And not only is it important, it's the only way. And that should be really scary to you guys. Because most of you guys are probably thinking, wait, but I can't use English because my English isn't good enough. See, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. You can only start to learn English, and your English will only improve once you start using it. Okay? So, please keep that in mind. That is so important. That is so important. Actually, we covered something similar a few streams ago, didn't we, guys? I think we did. Over on this channel. I think it was a few streams ago we actually covered that topic. Of course, it was just one set of, it was just one example. Just because you watch a few, you practice a few dialogues and you, just because you pick up a few expressions doesn't mean you're going to instantly do better on a job interview. Of course, that's not the case, but was it yesterday? Doesn't feel like yesterday. So what you need to understand is not look for a similar expression, but you need to kind of take a step back and ask the question. So in this situation in Korean, we say this. What do English native speakers say? How do they express themselves? What do they say when we say this? What would they say? That's the kind of perspective you need to have. And it's actually really simple what you're saying. If it were me and I wanted to tell that to someone next to me, I would say, "Would you stop? Would you stop it?" That's probably what I would say. And depending on exactly how, all right, exactly how, what kind of attitude and what sort of, what kind of person they are being at that moment, I could say it differently. I would say, would you stop being a jerk? Would you stop being so hysterical? Would you stop being so, so uptight? I mean, there are many things you could say, but probably the universal expression would be, would you stop? Would you stop it? I mean, again, there are so many ways we could say that. Oh, hey, Meryl. Hey, it's been a while. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you in the chat. I wonder what you think about training speaking skills with AI such as ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. What you think about training speaking skills with AI such as ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. I think it's a, come on. Like you guys don't need my opinion. Everybody knows for a fact that it's an excellent tool. It's an excellent tool as long as you use it. As long as you make good use of it. It depends on the user. It really depends on the user. So, if you make good use of it, yeah, it can be an excellent tool. You know what I think nowadays? Like nowadays, no one has any excuse for not being able to learn another language. There's no excuse. The only excuse you would have, the only reason that anybody would have for not being able to learn another language is just that they don't want to, or they just don't want to put in any time or any kind of effort. That's the only reason that you wouldn't be able to learn. I don't know. I don't know. I guess you could say, is this captioning program free? Is it free to use, or is it a paid software? I guess you could say that. So this captioning feature, this functionality, is it something that you're paying for? Are you paying for some sort of software? Are you using a paid software for that? There's so many ways you can say it. Yeah, so anything that I say in addition to what I said before, it appears green so that you guys know what it is that I'm saying right now, as opposed to what I said like a minute ago. Yeah, that's great. Like I said, like nobody nowadays in this day and age, ever since the AI revolution, like nobody has any reason to say that it's hard to learn a language. It's never been easier. It's never been easier. Sometimes I'm afraid of using English because I'm not good enough. I understand. So that's the same thing as saying I'm afraid to take my car out on the road because I'm afraid of driving. Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. So let's, I talk about the same thing over and over again, but when someone is trying to learn to drive, the only way they're going to improve is to just go out on the road and drive. Let's say, okay, so you're afraid, so you don't drive. Then you're not going to improve. You're not going to learn. You can't improve. It's as simple as that. It's so simple. It's never been easier. 배우셨던 적이 없다. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good evening. How you doing? I came here for the first time. My current problem is that I always use same grammar and words when I speak English. What should I do to improve my English? Listen very carefully. Do a lot of listening. Watch what others say, and if they say something that you wanna learn, if you hear something that you wanna learn, just try to mimic it. Like what else is there, right? If you want to, go the extra mile and put an extra effort, right? Instead of just trying to remember everything that you hear, what I recommend is that you actually write it down or you type it up and you print it out. So write it or print it so that you have a physical copy of whatever it is that you're trying to learn, and put it in front of you, like paste it on the wall, have it laying on your desk, pin it on the wall on your, I don't know what, like wherever, like use a refrigerator magnet and leave it on your refrigerator so that your eyes will meet, so that I don't think it's enough to have it in your notebook, because you have to then open the notebook, but then you're distracted by other things. So always having it visible somewhere, so that it meets your eyes, right? Before you even try to do it, as you're just going through your day, you just happen to see it, and whenever you do see it, you say it out loud. That's just one of the things you could do, but most people don't do it. I tell everybody about this. Most people don't do this because they don't want to go through. It's too much trouble. It's like, that's too much trouble. I want an easier way. I want a faster way. Yeah. But I'm just saying that's one of the things you could do. But you know, using the same grammar and words, there's nothing wrong with it. I do that too. I do that too. All right. You guys ready? You guys ready? I think it's not going to be a very long one today. It's just going to be a very short one. I only have like 4. We're going to go on Reddit again, and we're going to look at 4 posts. And I think 1 or 2 of them are we're going to go through it really quickly because it's not like a very complicated thing. Anyway, so hey, how you guys doing? How you guys doing tonight? Did you all have a good weekend? Did you all have a good weekend? It's bitterly cold today. I almost got blown by the wind. It's been so windy these past few days, hasn't it? Mr. Redcap, I have a question. I want to know how to use Discord during speaking class. Okay, so you are on Discord, yes? You have it installed? You have Discord installed and you signed up? You have an account? And you have the link, right? The link is available. Did you sign up as a member of the Discord channel? Okay, we'll talk about it soon. All right. Okay, let's. You guys ready? You've already signed. Okay. So you're a member of the Discord channel, yes? Okay, so when we're not going to do it today because we don't have a dialogue that we're going to practice with, but the next time we do a stream with a dialogue, I'm going to create a channel with the date. So it's either LA underbar and the date, or TDLR. And that means toddler, underbar, and then the date. And when you see that, you go in there, and you send a voice message. Okay, you record yourself, and you send a voice message, and I will play the voice message during the stream. And I'll hear it, everybody will hear it, and I can give you feedback. That's how it works. Okay. What about script? What do you mean, what about script? What about the script? You mean, huh? I'm not really sure what you mean by what about script. What script? Well, that's the dialogue. The dialogue that we... No. Look, guys, I just said we're going on Reddit today. Yeah. I mean, you've seen how we do it during the stream, right? You've seen how we do it? So as we go through a dialogue, you record yourself reading parts of the dialogue, and I will play your voice message, and we can all hear it together, and I can give you feedback if I feel that feedback is required, right? Oh, okay. All right. No, Reddit. Yes, Reddit. We're going on Reddit today. Anytime that I have 실전영어 on the thumbnail, it usually means we're going to go on Reddit. We're going to read some of the posts that I've saved that native speakers have posted. We're going to read it, try to understand it together, talk about it, and perhaps leave a helpful comment or a meaningful comment. And that's what we're doing, okay? Okay, all right, let's begin. First one. You guys ready? The title is, Why is it so hard to find a girl who is interested in me? Everybody understand? Why is it so hard to find a girl who is interested in me? Can somebody translate this, please? Somebody translate it? Yeah, right? Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to find a girl who is interested in me? 왜 날 좋아하는 여자가 없을까요? 그쵸? 나 좋아하는 여자를 왜 이렇게 찾기가 힘들까요? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's actually not funny. I mean, this person is not, it's not joking at all. Okay, so let's read and see what this guy's saying. It's just what it sounds. I'm 29-year-old male who's never been on a date. Never been on a date. There are some nights I cry because of how lonely I am. It's not just this person. From what I understand, a lot of people are experiencing this worldwide. People tell me I'm good looking, but that obviously hasn't helped me. I've been rejected more times than I can actively recall and count. I try to dress nicely and usually treat women well. It's not a guy-girl thing. I try to treat everyone well. But I've never been in a relationship. And it's not that my standards are high either. I'm okay with any girl who would show interest. I can find very few matches on dating apps, and almost all of them ghost me within the first 3 messages. The only person who has ever shown interest was a guy, and he's not really my type. I'm not into dudes. What am I doing wrong? New user passphrase. I generally don't know the answer. Well, what is this? New user passphrase? Okay, I don't know what this last part means, but so you guys understand what this person is going through? Okay, so we've read it once, right? We've read what this person wrote once. I would like you to give me some of the key details. Like, explain to me. You don't have to summarize the whole thing. Just give me just key details you remember from what this person wrote. A few pieces here and there. Just a few pieces of key information. What are we dealing with here? What's the situation? I just want to make sure everybody understands and they can actually okay, he's never been in any relationship. Okay. He looks like a nerd. Really? Oh no, this is not how the person actually looks. He want to date someone, but he can't find one. Right. So he wants to date someone. He wants to be in a relationship. He's never met any lady. Right. At least not in an intimate way. Right. Obviously, he's met a lot of ladies, but 노잼? That could be it, right? I mean, it could be that this person is 노잼, right? So he really wants to go on a date with a girl. It's really hard to find someone even using dating app. Lonely boy, yes. Maybe he has no opinion. Interesting. That's an interesting perspective, Leo. Right. People tell he's good looking. Yeah. So, I mean, he's got that going for him, right? He's good looking. People tell him he's actually good looking. People would not say that if he wasn't, right? So he's got a really good thing going for him. He's got something huge going for him, right? So I mean, that's a huge advantage, being good looking. He claims he's good looking and good mannered, but no girl shows interest in him. Maybe that's not what girls are looking for. Do we have any? We have some girls watching now, right? Is that what? Is there something else that girls look for besides being good looking and good mannered? He thinks he did everything he can do to meet someone, to hook up with someone. right? To hook up with someone. He's been trying to be charming, but still don't know. Okay, he doesn't have any value. He give kind to everyone. Aha. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. All right. 매력이 필요합니다. That is so hard, right? Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Maybe his voice is kind of weird. Could be. I mean, there might be something that he's not very aware of. Something about him that immediately puts women off for some reason, right? See, okay, so what I'm trying to do right now is this is something that I want you guys to do as well. Read what people have posted. Read it once, and then don't look at it, and just try to go over the things that you remember. And as if you're telling someone about what you just read about. This is very important training. This is a very important training. I remember doing this when I was in elementary school in the US. We would read a short story and there would be comprehension questions, right? So there would be questions that we answer to make sure that we understood the story. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do here. And I think that this could be like if you just use see, there are a lot of interesting things that you can read about. There's a lot of interesting reading material on Reddit. And you can actually interact with these people. You can leave comments. You can really think about these things, right? He probably doesn't know how to treat or talk to women. Well, does anybody know how to do that? Okay. So what should we say? Okay, so I'm just gonna try reading this again, all right? Maybe reading it a second time might give us some clues, right? Or at least have a better understanding of the situation. So why is it so hard to, this is something you might learn, why is it so hard to do something? Why is it so hard to find a girl who's interested in me? It's just what it sounds. I would say it's just like it sounds. It's just like it sounds. I'm 29 years old. I'm a 29-year-old male who's never been on a date. There are some nights I cry because of how lonely I am. That's very sad. People tell me I'm good looking, but that obviously hasn't helped me. So this is, as English learners, I know we're trying to help this person to an extent, but we're here to learn English, right? So this is something that I think we should take note of. That obviously hasn't helped me. I think it's an interesting way of talking about this. So people tell me I'm good looking, but that obviously hasn't helped me. I've been rejected more times than I can actively recall and count. So you see here, actively recall and count is just a very, very emphasized way of saying remember. So the base form of this expression, of this phrase here, the base form is, I've been rejected more times than I can remember. But this person is really putting a lot of stress on this remember, more times than I can actively recall and count. It's just a phrase. I try to dress nicely and usually treat women well. Usually. I wonder what that means. But it's not just because, he's saying that he doesn't treat women well just because they're women. He tends to treat everyone well. That's good, right? But I've never been in a relationship. And it's not that my standards are high either. It's not that my standards are high either. I'd be okay with any girl. So this is a hypothetical situation, right? So nobody has shown interest. Nobody has actually shown interest. That's why we have two woulds here, because this is a hypothetical statement, right? So I would be okay with any girl who would show interest. I wonder if that's true, though. I can find very few matches on dating apps, and almost all of them ghost me within the first 3 messages. The first person who has ever shown interest was a guy, and he's not really my type. I'm not into dudes, meaning he's not gay. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, what is he doing wrong? 씹는 거죠. 쉽게 말해서. ghost me는 이제 씹는 거죠. 답장을 안 하는 거. 씹는 거. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Any girl would be okay. He might not be who he says he is. That we will never know, right? We'll just have to take his word for it. What does he do for a living? Interesting question. I don't know. He's 29, so I'm guessing he's not a student. A guy-girl thing? Oh, so a guy-girl thing. Okay, that's a good question. So it's not a guy-girl thing. So if you read this part, I try to dress nicely and usually treat women well. Okay, so he usually tries to treat women well, but he wants to make sure that the readers understand he doesn't only treat women well. So it's not just because he's a guy and it's a woman, so he treats the women well. No. He treats everyone well. That's what he means by it's not a guy-girl thing. So it's not a guy-girl thing means I don't treat women well just because it's a thing between a guy and a girl. He tends to treat everyone well. Okay. Okay, so what should we say? What should we say here? What should we tell this person? He needs to meet a special girl who has similar personality code with him. Oh, that sounds hard. That sounds hard. Poster picture? He thinks women as women? He needs to get advice from different perspective. That's right. Mouth smell or something stinky. Well, that doesn't explain why women don't show interest in him even online, like on dating apps, right? Are there any dating skill experts in the States? I'm sure there are a lot of people who claim to be dating experts. And I'm sure there are actual dating experts who are very skilled and in that area, but I'm sure a lot of them are phonies. 동호회 가입. I think we need to see how the conversation flows when he meets girls. I know, right? Like, with, just going off of this description is really not enough for us to give any sort of meaningful advice, I feel like. I wonder if he had good conversation skills. I mean, he can understand what the woman said. Okay, desperation in him makes him less... Hey, guys, I think IK is actually onto something here. I think she's tapped into a very important aspect of this, because this is kind of what I was thinking as well. Maybe he's trying too hard. Maybe he's trying too hard, and the desperation is so obvious, and so women are kind of put off by that. I kind of had this idea too. And it could, and if he's trying too hard, it could actually come off as kind of creepy. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it's like I said, I think with only what we've just read, it's almost impossible to give any meaningful advice. So let's just state the obvious here, okay? Let's state the obvious. So it's very difficult to give any meaningful advice just off of what you've the information that you've provided. However, one thing that did cross my mind is that perhaps you are trying a bit too hard and women notice that. Does that make sense? It's very difficult to give any meaningful advice just off of the information that you've provided. However, one thing that did cross my mind is that perhaps you are trying a bit too hard and women notice that. I'm no expert, but if I were to, offer any sort of advice, I would just say, try to be yourself. Don't try so hard to please women or anyone else for that matter. There's a saying, as the saying goes, stop looking and you'll meet someone. There's a saying that goes something like this, right? Isn't there a saying? I don't know if I actually don't know if this sort of saying exists, but maybe I'm just making it up. Stop looking and you'll meet someone. Or how does it go? Is it stop looking and someone will come and find you? I don't really know. If I were to and if I did something. 내가 만약에 뭐뭘 한다면, 내가 뭐뭘 한다면, 내가 만약에 한다고 하면, 한다고 가정하면, 한다고 치면, 이런 느낌이 if I were to. 그러니까 가정을 약간 강조할 때 쓰는 말이에요. If I were to. Okay, so I don't know. I don't even know if this is a good comment. Does anybody want to add anything? So this is what I wrote. It's very difficult to give any meaningful advice just off. Okay, so just off of. What is this? What is this? What is this off of? What does that mean? Off of. of까지 봐야 돼요. Off of something. Off of something. When you say off of something, it means 무엇을 바탕으로, 무엇을 토대로. 그렇죠. 뭐뭐만 가지고, 뭔가를 가지고 그거를 토대로, 그거를 바탕으로. Off of. Okay. So it's very difficult to give any meaningful advice just off of the information that you've provided. However, one thing that did cross my mind is that perhaps you are trying a bit too hard and women notice that. I'm no expert, but if I were to offer any sort of advice, I would just say to try to be yourself. Don't try too hard. Don't try too hard to please women or anyone else for that matter. Yeah, as the saying goes, stop looking and you'll meet someone. Does anybody want to add something here? Actually, if you were to use based, you would still need to say based off of. Based on은 주어진 정보를 가지고 뭔가를 추론해내는 거를 based on이라고 하는 거고, based off of는 이제 그걸 가져다가 그거에 대한 어떠한 response를 할 건지, 어떻게 반응을 할 건지에 대한 얘기를 할 때 off of라고 해요. based on은 어떤 그걸로 내리는 추론을 내릴 때, 어떤 잠정적인 결론을 내릴 때 based on이라고 하고, according to는 있는 그대로 그 정보를 그대로 전달할 때 쓰는 거고요. Okay? Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so is there anything that I should delete from here? Is there anything that you don't like? It's okay. If there's something you don't like, just say so. Make a good female friend first and ask her what the problem is. Interesting. Do you think he can like hold himself back and just try to be good friends with a woman? I mean, he seems a little too desperate to just be friends with the girl before, taking things more further. Because I mean, he said he would be okay with anyone who shows interest, right? So that's, I don't know. That's gonna be hard. I know, right? I know. Okay. Anyway, all right. Actually, so let's just comment, because as I always say, the reason that most of you watching right now, the reason that you don't go on Reddit and do this yourself is, well, it's partly because you're lazy, because, you're not interested in this enough to feel motivated to do this. I know that. But I know that there's another part of you that is afraid. There's a part of you that is afraid of just saying anything to anybody because it's in English, right? But I just want to remind you that you don't have to leave a good comment. The point is to communicate, right? You don't always have to communicate well. You don't always have to say the right thing. You don't always have to be perfect. Just say something. Just say something, okay? And that's kind of like, with these streams and my lessons, you don't always have to understand 100%. You don't always have to be perfect. Just show up. Just show up and be there, okay? You see, that's the kind of thing that's one of the reasons you guys don't communicate in the first place. You're always you're worried too much. You're worried too much about maybe the person is gonna feel offended or insulted. I might say something bad, and just don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Okay? Comment. Whoops. Comment. There we go. Okay. All right. Now let's read a few of the other comments from other people. Okay? So this person asks, what do your male friends say when you ask why you're having such a hard time? What do your female friends say? Okay. It has 84 upvotes. All right. So I think this is kind of connected with some of the things that are other... Because I think earlier we had someone saying that... this person should try making female friends and asking them what they think. Okay. Okay, this one. What is this? Not usually one to jump in to these threads, but have had the overwhelming sense reading your responses that you're not really listening to what people have taken time to say. There's been little acknowledgement that there could be some things you could improve on or challenge your own thinking about. Are you able to consider some of these suggestions with an open mind? There seems to be a fair consensus to ditch apps, join fun groups, realize it's not particularly attractive to want just anyone. Not particularly attractive to want just anyone. I think that's kind of along the same lines of what we're trying to say, right? So just trying to be nice to everyone and just hoping anybody, right? And anybody takes the bait, so to speak. I think this is what I think this is a sentence that I would try to remember because this is very cleverly said, right? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say here? I think this is a very well put statement. It's not particularly attractive to want just anyone. Okay? It's not particularly attractive to want just anyone. And figure out why you might be thinking that, because it is very unusual. Yeah, it is unusual. Wanting anybody, right? Finding someone you are compatible with isn't that easy. So having an understanding of what you may want in partner other than she's alive and likes me is essential development as a human. Wow. This person is going really deep with this. Otherwise, it's not very nice for the other person, who could essentially be anyone at all. Right. So this person is saying that wanting anyone, right, the fact that the person wants anyone, it's not very nice for someone who's actually a potential partner, right? It's not fair for them. It's doing a disservice to that possibility, right? Part of being in a relationship is knowing the person chose you because they see who you are and want that. Wow. This is so long. This being said, it's terrible to be lonely, and I hope you're able to find a way to work on yourself with kindness and not shame and find your person. Wow. Look at that. 364 upvotes. Yeah. You know, if you are learning English at an intermediate or an advanced level, you could go on and look for all these fancy lessons claiming that they'll make you a native speaker. You can learn so much from a single Reddit comment. There's so much you can learn. There's so much motivation here. There's so much motivation to learn expressions, right? There's so much that you can learn just from a single Reddit post or a single Reddit comment even, okay? Okay, that's great. All right. Should we move on? You guys want to move on? Okay. What is this? Should I say something? At the gym, ladies' pants are see-through when she bends over. Should I say something? At the gym, ladies' pants are see-through when she bends over. Yes. Yeah. So, when she bends over, so the pants themselves are not meant to be see-through, but when she bends over, they become kind of see-through because, I'm guessing because they stretch, and when the material stretches, it kind of gets thinner and the structure falls apart and you can kind of see through, okay? And so, yeah. I would let other girl tell her. That's smart. Wait, how do we know this is a guy? All right. Okay, so let's read. Like the title says, a woman in one of my classes wears leggings, and I can see right through them when she squats or does anything bending over. I can see everything. Should I tell her or just mind my own business? Is that the end? Yeah, that's the end. Oh my gosh. I know, like, oh my god, right? Like the title says. A woman in one of my... if this person noticed it, I'm sure, like, everybody noticed it by now, right? And it's such a shame that nobody has told her, even until now. Like, nobody's telling her about it. Is the OP worried about the woman, or is it just really difficult to look at? Probably both. It would be good to tell a manager at the gym about it, not direct message or something. Okay. A woman in one of my classes. Promotion at the gym. Promotion at the gym. Promotion at the gym. I'm not sure what that means. Do you have another legging? Another pair of leggings? Because they might have a feeling that she already knows it, but still wears it. Ah, okay. If the writer is male, then it would be best to let other girl talk to her, just like the other said. If the writer is female, I tell her directly. Okay. All right. I think that's fair. That's fair. All right, so I'll just read this one more time. Like the title says, a woman in one of my classes wears leggings and I can see right through them when she squats or does anything bending over. I can see everything. Should I tell her or just mind my own business? Say, easy. If you're a woman, tell her. If you're a guy, have some other girl tell her. You're welcome. Good? Yeah? Good? All right. Comment. So, notice how we used the causative form here. Have some other girl tell her. Use the causative. Have some other girl tell her. Okay, I think that's kind of that's what we can take away. That's what you can take away from this particular post and our comment here. Okay. A trainer would be better instead of a random girl. Oh, that's actually a good idea. Preferably one of the trainers. So, easy. If you're a woman, tell her. If you're a guy, have some other girl tell her, preferably one of the trainers there. You're welcome. 네, 많이 달라요. 뉘앙스가 다른 게 아니라 아예 의미 자체가 달라요. let라고 하잖아요. let라고 하면은 기본적으로 그 사람이 그렇게 하고 싶어 하는 상태여야 돼요. 그래서 하고 싶어 하는 사람을 할 수 있게 내버려 두는 거, 허락해 주는 거. have는 그렇게 유도를 하라는 거죠. 그런 상황을 만들어라. have. let는 하고 싶은 거 하게 해줘라. 이런 느낌이고요. Okay, so it's yes, it's very different. Very, very different. Okay. So that was it. We'll do that. We'll just go over it one more time. Should I say something at the gym? Ladies' pants are see through when she bends over. Like the title says, a woman in one of my classes wears leggings and I can see right through them when she squats or does anything bending over. I can see everything. Should I tell her or just mind my own business? Easy. If you're a woman, tell her. If you're a guy, have some other girl tell her. Preferably one of the trainers there. You're welcome. Okay, so let's read a few of the other comments on this post. You should ask a staff member of the gym to tell her. Easy. That was easier than ours, right? Easier than ours. Let a female staff member know. Okay. Let a female staff member know they have probably dealt with wardrobe malfunctions before and would know how to approach her. Perfect, right? Wardrobe malfunction. Keep that in mind. Wardrobe malfunction. Wardrobe malfunction. How about closing your eyes and meditating? So they have probably dealt with something before. They have dealt with something before. They have dealt with something before. In this case, wardrobe malfunctions, and would know how to approach her. Approach someone. How to approach someone. How to approach some. A lot of things to learn. Reddit. Just reading Reddit all day. You know, I hate to admit. I really hate to admit. I would love to say that my channel is the best for English learners. Nope. You know what I honestly think? What I honestly think is that if you would just go on Reddit and read all of these all day, much better for your English learning experience than any other lesson, any other expensive-ass lesson that you find online. Much better. Just much, much better. Because context, right? There's context. Okay. Another one? I can see everything. As in no underwear? So not really giving any advice, but yeah, so just wanting to know specifics. Okay. So as in. Does anybody know what as in means? 그러니까. Okay. Kind of. 말하자면. As in is like 뭐뭐라는 의미로. 뭐뭐라는 의미에서. It's kind of like that. So instead of as in, what is a good replacement for as in? What can we replace this with? One word in English. One word. As in. Replace it. Well, okay, like is one. But how about meaning? Meaning. So as in is almost exactly the same as meaning. I can see everything, meaning no underwear. Okay? Meaning. As in. Almost the same, okay? If you're a woman, I would discreetly let her know. Discreetly means like secretly, okay? I'll let her know in the locker room when nobody is around. I'd hope another lady would let me know. I would hope. So this person is changing their perspective, putting herself in her shoes and saying that I would, if it were me, I'd hope another lady would let me know. If you're a man, proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. She may appreciate it, but be mortified. Yeah. Mortified means like scared to death. Embarrassed to death. So embarrassed, like it would be like the experience of dying. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Guys, I gotta use the bathroom. I think I've been drinking too much coffee this evening, so I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back. All right. Okay, let's move on. You guys ready for the next one? You guys ready for the next one? Okay. I have a question. Do the men here feel uncomfortable when you see women wearing only leggings in public? Good question. So, the guys here. As for me, if I'm being really, really honest, it depends on how she looks. If she looks good wearing them, I don't mind. That's my honest answer. And you know what? I bet that's how most guys feel. 이거요? She was mortified when the trainer told her that she had been showing her underwear in the class the whole time. Yes, good. Good, Ikanim. Very good. See, you should learn from what Ikanim is doing. She's paraphrasing. She's taking what she heard about something, the story, and she's summarizing it in her own way with her own structure. Very good. It's very good exercise. It's very good exercise. This question get asked a lot. You mean about the leggings thing? Yeah. And, you know, it also depends on where the person is, I think. Because it's like anything else, like the kind of language you use, the kind of behavior you show. There's a time and a place for everything, right? There's a time and a place for everything, and so, you know, as long as you're not making other people feel uncomfortable in the wrong place by doing something stupid, you know, at the wrong time, at the wrong place, at the wrong time, you know. So, okay. Okay, let's move on. Leggings are like school uniforms. Oh, you mean it's that common? Like in the US? Is that what you mean? Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Frequency of spending time with in-laws in Korea. Frequency of spending time with in-laws in Korea. Hello, everyone. I have a bit of a stupid question, but for those that are married, how long do you spend with your in-laws? My in-laws are pretty okay to be around in small doses, but an issue is that they want to visit. Visit my wife and I. Okay, so they want to visit my wife and I, and when they do, they typically want to crash at our place for a week at a time. We live in Korea, but we don't live in Seoul. They aren't bad people, but their concept of personal boundaries and what I'm comfortable with doesn't match. Basically, I often feel like a guest in my home. I often feel like a guest in my own home is what this person is saying. Sometimes I just want to be myself in my home, but their prolonged stays make me uncomfortable. I try my best to be respectful of Korean culture, but I'm an introvert. Sometimes I came home and found them laying in my bed. What? They washed my clothes and my mill folded. What's mill? Mother-in-law. Okay, so they washed my clothes and my mother-in-law folded my underwear. I don't know if I'm the one who isn't going with the flow, or if I'm justified for not wanting them over like this. It's causing me a lot of stress. Oh man. JC, tell your wife what you're really feeling and ask for help from her. That's. I would be surprised if this person actually hasn't tried that already, right? I just want to remind everyone here. That if you so choose to, you could easily go on this post right now and you can leave your own comment however you want. Remember that. So it doesn't have to be through me. You could say whatever you want to this person. Okay? If you so choose to. So I'm sure that even if you're not very interested in this topic particularly, there's a lot of phrases, expressions that you can learn from. A lot, I guarantee. Hello everyone. I have a bit of a stupid question. So this person is not saying I have a stupid question. This person is saying it in a very careful way, right? But for those that are married, so he's directing this question to the people who are married. For those that are married, how long do you spend with your in-laws? My in-laws are pretty okay to be around. This is a very, very natural and very casual expression to use about people. So if someone is okay to be around, that means they feel more or less comfortable with that person, okay? So my in-laws are pretty okay to be around. Not great, but pretty okay. My in-laws are pretty okay to be around, but in small doses, right? Okay, in small doses. So my in-laws are pretty okay to be around in small doses. That means for short periods of time. Not for long periods of time, but for short periods of time. Frequently is okay. But an issue is that they want to visit my wife and I. And when they do, they typically want to crash. That means stay over. They want to sleep over at our place for a week at a time. 한 번에 일주일씩. We live in Korea, but we don't live in Seoul. They aren't bad people, but they're a concept of personal boundaries. Okay? You know what that means, right? Personal boundaries, right? I don't know how would you say personal boundaries in Korean? Personal boundaries? I'm not really sure. 개인 공간? 개인 영역? Not really sure. How would you say this? 개인 공간? 개인 영역? Maybe just privacy? Privacy? Maybe we just say privacy? It's kind of different from personal boundaries, but anyway. So their concept of personal boundaries and what I'm comfortable with. Okay, and this what is personal boundaries. So everyone has their own idea of personal boundaries. And when we're talking about personal boundaries, there's a certain range of personal boundaries that you feel comfortable with, that you don't feel comfortable with, and this is probably different for everybody, right? So their concept of personal boundaries and what I'm comfortable with doesn't match, right? Basically, I often feel like a guest in my own home. Sometimes I just want to be myself in my home, but their prolonged stays, 이렇게 오래 길어지는 그런 머금이, okay, make me uncomfortable. I try my best to be respectful of, very important question, very, very important question. 존중하는 마음을 갖다, okay, be respectful of. I try my best to be respectful of Korean culture, but I'm an introvert. Sometimes I came home and found them laying in my bed. This part is kind of, yeah. Anyway, so they wash. I don't mind this, and I don't mind this. I honestly don't mind that. But laying in my bed, really? Okay, so they wash my clothes, and my mother-in-law folded my underwear. I don't know if I'm the one who isn't going with the flow. I don't know if I'm the one who isn't going with the flow. This too is just a mistake. I don't know if I'm the one who isn't going with the flow, or if I'm if I'm justified for not wanting them over like this. I think this is another good phrase for you to learn. To be justified for not wanting to do something or not wanting something. Okay, so if you are justified for not wanting something, that means you have the right. It's perfectly natural and understandable that you don't want something. You're not being unreasonable. You are being reasonable, okay? So I'm justified for not wanting them over like this. It's causing me a lot of stress. Interesting. So what should we say? What would you say to this person? Yeah. They've got so much time. Even I, as Korean, I would hate it. You're justified for that. Have your wife tell her parents two, to stop staying over that long. Okay. JC, you should go and say that. Go. Write the comment. You know what I would do? Whenever they're coming over, I would put like really, really weird looking panties in the laundry. like underwear with my face on it or something. Okay. So what should we say? I guess it's pretty clear, right? Right? Please talk to your wife about it. I mean, what else can we say? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. So please talk to your wife about it. Yeah, obvious answer. Okay, let's see. Put up boundaries. They have to respect you as well. Korea culture does trump your boundaries. Here, trump means it goes over. It goes higher. It goes higher. It outweighs. Okay. I think this person meant to say doesn't. This person probably meant to say doesn't, but for some reason it just said does. Tell your wife you don't like it and don't want them laying in your bed, touching your things, or staying for a week, or showing up unannounced. Showing up unannounced. Please, take this. Take this expression. Showing up unannounced. Very good, very important expression, I think. Showing up unannounced. Showing up unannounced. Okay? Okay. 예고 없이, 말 없이 불쑥 찾아가는 거. Show up unannounced. Okay? So here, Trump basically means is more important. Okay, so what this person is trying to say here is Korean culture is not more important than your boundaries. It means your boundaries are more important than Korean culture. Okay? And I think, just kind of being comfortable with this kind of sentence flow is very basic, but I think it's important as well. It's good exercise. Tell your wife you don't like it and don't want them laying in your bed, touching your things, or staying for a week, or showing up unannounced. So having the ability to extend your sentences like this. So you're basically making a list of things, right? And being able to do that. Now, there's nothing difficult here, but for a lot of folks who are learning English, extending your sentences like this can be quite challenging. And so whenever you come across something that's relatively easy, right? And you can mainly focus on the flow. So I think this could be very good exercise. Okay. This is Reddit. This is Reddit. Reddit. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's one of the biggest community websites in the U.S. So. This foreigner guy who was living with his in-laws in Gyeonggi-do somewhere, a little bit country, told me that once he came home one weekday after work and his mother-in-law had gone into his room and gathered up all his underwear and washed them by hand and put them out on the bushes in open view to all. I used to have my mother-in-law walk into our house while I'm still not fully dressed because she had the key code, bringing over food and stuff, taking over my kitchen. Yes, I'm the man, but do the cooking in the kitchen is kind of my domain. Okay. You can see it wasn't a great situation, but after working things out, we are friends. Like real, actual friends. It's great. The people who can make this work are people who can bridge the culture gaps. It takes both sides. Here is some perspective. Be aware that if they are sleeping in your bed, it means they love you and trust you. Okay. I'm 99% sure of that. All right. This is Korean style. All right. Wait, so is this person Korean or is this person... You aren't Korean, so bam, culture gap. They washed your clothes, underwear because that's the Korean way to communicate connection. Really? Is washing someone else's, washing your, that's how you communicate connection? And that they don't want to take advantage of you both. Okay. They want to contribute to the good of the group. Yes, it's not your way, but it's their way. Okay, that's a fair assessment. Coming over like that means they trust you. And even more, they probably actually like to be with you and your wife. But that's another thing. If you reject this, they will be hurt, and you probably don't want that. Okay, I'm not really liking where this is going. To address the situation, I recommend two things. You bridge some of the gap by learning to embrace some of this Korean-style love. It's wonderful because love is love. Learn about 오손도손 time. Maybe they do this with you too. You must insist that they always bridge the gap. It takes both sides. Talk with your wife first. Okay, obviously. and let her know how you feel in the nicest way. You both can let them know how you feel, that that you love them and their ways, but as a foreigner, you will never become a Korean. You will never be Korean. You would feel better if oh, like, so this person is basically telling the OP exactly how to approach this confession and how to convey their feeling. Wow, that's long. Okay, I'm not gonna read all that. Too long to read. Yeah, it's kind of a stretch. Yeah, well, maybe not a stretch, but it's a bit one-sided. It's a bit one-sided. Okay. 글쓴이가 장인 장모를 오해할까봐 그들이 너를 좋아하는 거라고 말해주는데, yeah, basically that's what they're saying. Basically. Okay, so have you guys had problems with this before? Like, your personal boundaries being taken advantage of, being overrun, being breached by your in-laws, or your, I don't know, maybe not only in-laws, but like other people. Maybe it could be like your boss or something. Being real Korean does trump my right to veil my underwears. You mean doesn't trump? Yeah. Okay. All right. There is one more, but I think it's too serious of a topic. I do have one more that I was thinking that I might go over with you guys, but I think it's a bit too serious of a topic. My in-laws bond too hard, actually. It's tough. Oh, okay. So they like to bond with you, huh? Is it only great mother-in-laws who are like that? It seems like all parents are like that. I'm sure it's not all parents. 보기 겨웠네. Okay. So the next one, because I put these in the order of like seriousness, in terms of seriousness. And as we go further into, like, as we move on to the next post, it gets a little bit more and more serious. Your mom is like that? I see. And so Casey, your mom is like that. 선생님 혹시 지금 수업한 거 더보기란에 남겨주시는 거죠? I will leave the link. I will leave the link to these posts so that you can actually go to the link and read, and maybe even and read all of the comments there, and also maybe even add your own comment. Okay, so I will leave the links to these posts for you to use. Okay. All right, so the last one is this. I don't know. I was just going over this and I thought it was kind of interesting. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. So the title here is Changing How We Manage Money in Our Marriage, Korean Wife and Foreign Husband. Now, it's not... and the person who wrote this is the husband. Okay? The person who wrote this is the husband. And the title is Changing How We Manage Money in Our Marriage. Anyone else done this? Okay. All right. So let's just read. I think it's a kind of a long read. So let's just go through it. I was told early on that the norm in Korea is for the husband to hand over his salary to the wife. who manages the household finances. I reluctantly went along with this after getting married. Fast forward 7 years, and I'm now regretting it. Turns out she's not great at budgeting, and there's been very little transparency. Uh-oh. Starting next month, I'm going to change how we do things. I'll pay half of all bills directly and set a cap on things like groceries and kids' expenses. Since we're both working, I think we should contribute equally. I'm not trying to dictate how she spends, but I want a clearer picture of where the money goes and how it's being used. Fairness and accountability, basically. We've also been paying her mother for part-time childcare, about 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, for 1 million won a month. Honestly, that feels excessive to me. Excessive means a little too much. I'm planning to move to an hourly rate and start tracking the time worked. Whoa. It just makes more sense, especially now that I'm home more often and helping with the kids myself. I'm expecting some pushback. Pushback means some resistance from the other part. Okay, some pushback. I'm expecting some pushback, but this feels long overdue. This means that when something feels long overdue, it means that it should have been done earlier. Okay. Just wondering how other families, especially foreigners married to Koreans, handle budgeting, financial transparency, and childcare payments. Is the full salary handover still common? And if you've tried shifting to a more balanced approach, how did it go? Okay, so that was the original post. Okay? So the topic is pretty serious, especially when you compare it to the previous ones, but I felt that there were so many expressions that you can learn from this, right? And they're so close to our everyday lives, like realistically speaking, right? There are so many expressions. Put a cap on something means to apply a limit. Put a cap on something means to apply a limit to something. That's what it means, yes. So put a cap on the expense means 지출에 제한을 두다, right? Right. Okay. And so I think the reason I added this was because it was very well written. There are barely any grammatical errors throughout the entire post. And so I thought it would make for a very good learning material for you guys. Okay. I understand the frustration, but he's going too extreme, especially putting hourly rate on childcare work for mother-in-law. Okay. I think that's a fair thing to say about this too. I do feel it's kind of he's going I get where this guy is coming from, and like you said, I understand the frustration, but maybe he's taking it a little too far, right? Maybe he's taking it a little too far. Okay. So, again, I was told early on that the norm in Korea is for the husband to hand over his salary to the wife who manages the household finances. I reluctantly went along with this. I went along. 뭐뭐대로 하다, 뭐뭐대로 따르다, go along with something, after getting married. Fast forward 7 years. Fast forward means like skipping, making a huge skip into the future in terms of time frame. So fast forward 7 years, and now I'm regretting it. Turns out she's not great at budgeting, and there's been very little transparency. That means she wasn't very forthright. She wasn't very straightforward. She wasn't very honest about where the money was being spent and where it wasn't. Starting next month, I'm going to change how we do things. I'll pay half of all bills directly himself, like he'll do it himself, and set a cap on things like groceries, kids expenses. Since we're both working, I think we should contribute equally. I'm not trying to dictate how she spends, but I want a clearer picture of. I want a clearer picture of means I want a better understanding of, right? I want a clearer picture of where the money goes and how it's being used. Where the money goes and how it's being used. Where the money goes and how it's being used. Kind of the same thing if you think about it, but it's just phrased differently. It's very good for English learners like us. So, they want a better understanding, a clearer picture of where the money goes and how it's being used, right? Fairness and accountability, basically. We've also been paying her mother for part-time childcare. So paying someone for part-time childcare, about 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, for 1,000,001 a month. Honestly, that feels excessive to me. That feels excessive to me. Just like a lot of us are feeling that his response to this is a little excessive, right? Anyways, so this person says that it's, this amount of money for this amount of work feels excessive, right? Honestly, that feels excessive to me. I'm planning to move to an hourly rate and start tracking the time worked. Tracking the time worked. How would you do that? Make her sign in and sign out? Oh my gosh. It just makes more sense, especially now that I'm home more often and helping with the kids myself. I'm expecting some pushback, so I'm expecting some resistance from them. But this feels long overdue. It means it should have been done a long time ago. Just wondering how other families do this and that. Okay, so there was an update. After the OP posted the original story, they added an update. I feel like I should add some context in response to some comments. Okay, so the person read some comments. They want to add some more context. Context is important. My kids have several tutors that visit piano, English, math. Ugh, okay. Mother-in-law is basically parked in the living room watching TV and on her phone. I get home and cook. That means my part, my task. This is my job. I get home. No. Oh, sorry. Forget what I just said, okay? I get home and cook, wash up, put the kids to bed, and tidy the house before wife comes home. So yeah, I'm not hands-off in any sense. Hands-off means 손 떼고 있는 거, hands-off. 그렇지가 않대요. So the person, no. Just because her mother-in-law is taking care of the kids doesn't mean he's all hands-off. He's actually doing some work, okay? So I get home and cook, wash up, put the kids to bed, and tidy the house before wife comes home. So yeah, I'm not hands-off in any sense. Yeah. So I guess some of the comments were saying that, it takes a lot of effort to take care of children. And so I'm guessing that's why this person added this little detail here. So, what should we say? What should we say? Difficult, right? Please talk to your wife. Please talk to your wife. You're welcome. Please upvote my comment. Please talk to your wife. 찍어 도장? You mean have his mother-in-law punch in and punch out using a stamp? Oh man. Yeah. We stream, well, I stream as often as I can. I think this week I've been pretty. I've been streaming pretty often. I think. I can't really remember. I think so. We streamed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? No, maybe we didn't do it on Monday. I honestly don't remember, guys. We stream as often. I stream as often as I can. When I do stream, it's usually around 9 o'clock at night. So, yeah. Talk to your partner. I guess. Okay, so this, like I said, we're not. If you would like, the reason I'm not adding a meaningful comment is because it's kind of hard to, it's I think if I were to add a meaningful comment, I would maybe talk about some things that I would do or some things that I heard other people do. I think what this person is looking for is just other people to share their own experience, okay? And so that's what you should do. What you should do is, you don't necessarily have to give advice, but you can just share your experience, right? Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to say this. I'm just not going to comment at all. Let's look at some of the other comments here. That's the traditional way, but not necessarily the norm. Have an open and honest conversation with your wife. Okay, so basically what can we say, right? What can one say about this, right? Except talk to your wife to figure out what works best for your family. But 3 hours a day, 4 times a week works out to about 50 hours of childcare per month. 1 million won seems reasonable, especially if she also helps with cooking and cleaning. So this is probably one of the reasons the OP added that extra context. So, but not necessarily. It's A, but not necessarily B. It's A, but not necessarily B. Have an open and honest conversation. So an open and honest conversation. An open and honest conversation. A very, very commonly used phrase. An open and honest conversation. Figure out what works. Very, very commonly used phrase. Figure out what works. Figure out what works. Okay, so 3 hours a day, 4 times a week works out to something. That means when you calculate that, you get some result. You calculate that and it works out to be, okay? So you can say calculates. So 3 hours a day, 4 times a week calculates to about, all right? But it works out to. Okay. And let's see. You can extract all your monthly spending from your bank accounts to Excel. Ugh. Also for the past and then do a household list. This is how my wife does it. Wow. She automated many things there, and we have an incredible detailed household spending file that dates back years. It is saved in a cloud, and we both have access to it. Okay. Do any of you guys do this? Do any of you guys take it to this extent? Like, do you go this far with your financing, your family financing? That's incredible, right? 1 million is a great deal. If she doesn't like it and quits, you'll have an angry mother-in-law. And then you'll end up having to hire a more expensive outside nanny. Keep the money in the family, so to say. Oh, keep the money in the family. That's an interesting way of looking at it. So to say, is another way of saying so to speak. So to speak. 말하자면 이렇게 하라는 거다. Keep the money in the family. Filipino with a Korean husband. Filipino with a Korean husband, okay? I was an accountant back home, so I'm pretty conservative with money. My husband is also quite frugal. Frugal is another way of saying conservative. Not spending, relentlessly. Guess we're made for each other. Double income household. I don't ask any money from my husband. He pays for offline grocery and house utilities. He pays for his and our child's insurance? They have their own children? I pay for everything bought online, my own insurance, phone bill, Netflix, clothes, shoes, gadgets. We both give $300K each for our son's allowance. We pay into a travel leisure savings. We have separate savings. We have never argued about money in our 22 years of marriage. Like never. Wow. Okay. Okay. Right. His and our child. Right. Okay. So insurance for the parents and for the children. Okay, I see. No. I think Olivia's right. So he pays for his and our child's insurance. So he pays for his insurance and their child's insurance. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the reason we do this, the reason we come on Reddit, and the reason we read some of these things and we read the comments and we sometimes add comments ourselves is, well, part of it is, I just want to spend this time with you guys and give you guys a reason to spend this sort of Sunday evening using English, right? But another really important part of this whole thing is to encourage you to go online, to go on Reddit, and, just kind of read through some of these things and find something that you're interested in. Read, learn from it, communicate. You can learn so much. Okay. All right. Okay, that's it. Let me just copy and paste the links to these posts over here. Save. Okay, so I have copied and pasted all of the links to the posts that we've read. So I encourage you to go online. Do it. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight and spending time with me and everybody else here. It's always fun to go on Reddit and read these things and share, kind of see how you guys respond to some of the things here. And anyway, so have a great rest of your weekend or whatever we have left of it. And I hope I can see you guys again very soon in a future live stream or in a future lesson video. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you guys soon.